Hi everyone, in today's video, it's been 56 days since I set this yard up. This is the yard I put the nucs in back a week after Easter. I think it was around April the 23rd. We're here in the middle of June right now, just past the middle of June. This is the first time I've been here in a little over a month, so I want to see how they're doing. They've definitely built up a lot of population, as you can see bearding here. And you may notice some bees after me a little bit. I just got through weed eating. It was really a mess here. And you know well as I do, bees love weed eaters just as much as we do. In consideration though, there's only 3 or 4 bees after me, so that's not that bad considering I just weed eated up under these entrances and stuff. But I want to see how they're doing on honey. The nectar flow is pretty much winding down. There's still probably, I'm sure there's still nectar coming in, but there's may not be quite enough to draw a comb, just a guess. But we're fixing to find out. I just want to see how they're doing. I'm not going to go down into the brood nest unless I detect a problem. I'm more or less just going to raise the inner cover and see how the supers look. I will not be adding any supers as I'll be harvesting here in about a week or two. So what we see is what we get as far as supers. Now just a reminder, the one down there on the very end is a split that I took back at the time I got the package colonies. It was one of the extra queens I got at the time. So the 5 on this end are the actual nucs I got at that time. So we're going to get the smoker going. We're going to check it out. All right, we're about to get started. I'll hit these with a little extra smoke since I just got through weed eating around here. I've dealt with these particular bees before, or at least from where the queen comes from. They're relatively gentle. Really a pleasure to work with. And just a reminder, I did do a mite wash and treat these about 4 or 5 days after I set the yard up. And it looks like they responded very well to the treatment. So we have a lot of bees up here. It would appear I've probably judged just about right, at least on the wax part. There's no fresh white wax. I mean, there is some wax here, but that's a few weeks old. It's got some yellow on it already. But this super is full and capped. This frame out here on the end is being capped and they're finished filling it. The rest of these are full. And well, the exception of the outside of this one right up in here, which they're now filling. There's a few down in there. But for all intents and purposes, this super is full and ready to harvest. So that looks great. They like a little bit there. They're filling that in. But that's no problem. It's probably going to be a week or two before I harvest. So by that time, hopefully they'll have the rest of this full. I've really just, by raising this up, I've seen all I need to see, but I'll pull out another frame over here. This is probably the least full one on the end over here. There's quite a few bees on it right now. As you can see, they're filling it now. Just starting to cap it, but some beautiful white wax is on here. And this side maybe about 25% full, so maybe they'll get this one filled on out before the nectar flows over. So what I'm going to do, move this frame to the middle out here that I just looked at a few minutes ago, and I'm going to put this one in its place. And the one next to it, I'm going to do exactly the same. That side may be close to halfway capped, but this side is totally capped. I probably just need to turn that around and put it right back in place, because there's actually some frames further in it's in need of more attention than that one. Like this one on this side. So I think I'll move this one in as well. Then we'll put this one on the outside. It's practically done. So that looks very good. Very well pleased with that. Huge difference in these colonies since I've been up here about a month ago. maybe, I think it's been a little over a month since I've been up here. So that hive we just looked at, we're going to get 2 mediums off of it for sure. They ought to be about 90-95% full. So here's one that's going to have one harvestable medium on it. So this is one of the probably the weaker ones up here. So let's see what we got here. Quite a few bees up here on the inner cover. I love how gentle these bees are. They move really slow and they don't get all excited. So this one has some fresh white wax on it, so they're definitely getting some good nectar in this area somewhere. And this super here looks like it's totally full. And by the way, these toppings we're looking at was partials I put on, and they've obviously completely finished drawing these out. And that's why I put them in that sequence. I put on foundations very last. So hopefully with any luck this year I won't have any partials to take in. So that frame there was practically full. It just needs capping on one side. This looks great. So the bees look good and healthy. There's a lot of bees. They're working calmly, looking very good. That's beautiful right there. Absolutely beautiful. That's a light colored honey. That's going to be good when I get it harvested in the honey house. Delicious. So this colony is looking very good, very satisfied with it. So basically sitting here thinking I've had possession of these nucs almost right at 2 months. So they've done very well. So that was the second hive. Let's move down to the third. So I got 2 mediums above the excluder on this one. And I noticed right off there's not a lot of bees, so this kind of tells me there's a possibility this one may have swarmed, or there could be another, some other type of issue going on. They have drawn some on this comb, but not a lot. So and by the way, that first one up there had the highest mite count in the wash when I done it back then, so that cleaned them up and they did very well. So here's a partial frame. They have drawn a little bit. There's a little bit of honey up here. And I can see the one underneath is capped up, looks like. So, but I'm not going to take this one off here. It looks like they've done the most work right in here on this upper super. So we pull this frame out and I'll show it to you. So they did draw this out some. There's a little bit of honey there. That's dark right there, so that may be mimosa honey. That's pretty fresh. So I'm going to get probably 1 1/4 mediums off of this hive. So that's the third colony. So all right, so here's the fourth, and this one I don't see any cappings really. Let's see if there's any honey in here. There are some bees up here working. Yes, it's mostly full. They're just not in the capping process. At least that frame was. This frame's not going to have hardly anything in it. So I'm probably going to get about 1/2 of a medium off of this one. So this will be a colony that I will definitely requeen this year. Because I don't need stock like this that won't produce. And they've all had an equal opportunity, so I need a little bit better genetics with this colony, so I'll requeen it in the near future, probably next month. All right, here's the 5th of the 5 nucs that I purchased. We got 2 harvestable mediums above the excluder. Let's see what we got. This top one's not totally full. I'm probably going to be lucky to get half of this super full. So there's a nicely capped, mostly full frame. Probably needs more wax on it. They didn't draw this one out, and that kind of looks to be the case. They're not wanting to draw on this plastic, so I probably need to put some wax on these for next year where it's still not drawn out. But pretty much the rest of these frames are full to a degree. right here's a good example. They drew a little bit right here where they had started, but no additional comb there. And then this side is, I think they drew some on this side and then they capped some of it, but they didn't draw the corners out. And the super below it looks pretty much full. So it looks like I'm gonna get roughly about 7 mediums of honey off of these nucs. So that'll more than cover the investment for them. And plus I'll have these colonies for next year as well. So very glad I went ahead and purchased these. So that was all the nucs, but right here, look at the work activity at this one. This was basically a 10 frame split where I used a queen excluder and merged with a deep underneath and a little bit of brood and made a big split for this, and I just put one of the extra queens I got for my packages in there. But look how good they're doing. They're really going at it right now. Of course, some of this is due to the fact I just cut all this down, and I'm sure that it looks different to them because it was growed up pretty bad. But anyway, let's dig in here and see what we got. But just once again, I want to point out that this is a split. This is not one of the nucs that I bought. So right off the bat, I can tell this super's full. I don't know if it's totally capped, but it's definitely full of honey. A lot of bees up here working, so I'm going to get 3 mediums off of this split. And I didn't realize, I guess I wasn't paying attention, but I've got 10 frames in here. I usually run 9 in my supers. And I think this was actually a foundation I put on here, or a small partial, but they drew this out very well. Like a little bit at the corners. This is an outside frame. It's just beautiful, fresh wax. Beautiful honey. So I'm going to make a little room, pull out a middle one and show it. Yeah, that's a beautiful frame. That's thick and heavy. And especially since I had 10 frame spacing, they have really drawn that out nicely. Just look at that. That's absolutely gorgeous. So this is kind of going to give me a clue for what to look for when I get to the package yard as far as the gentleness. These bees are really gentle. They move about slow. They're hardly even paying any attention to my hand up here. Very gentle. I really like this bee. So these bees have been up here for, well, I made this split back on April the 3rd. So yeah, these are definitely, every bee you're seeing belongs to this queen. Every bee in this colony is that queen. So this colony is over 2.5 months old with that queen. All right, there it is. There's my report today on the nuc yard. Doing very well overall. Looks like altogether I'm going to get about 10 mediums of, got a bee trying to sting my hand. They're still agitated about the weed eater. Looks like overall I'm going to get about 10 mediums of honey right here. Including the split from down there, which has got 3 full mediums on it now. Well, I appreciate you for joining me for this video today. Never stop learning. We'll catch you on the next one.